There is no doubt about it, the weekly chart for Bitcoin is looking increasingly bullish. With macro reversal patterns in play, such as the descending channel, indicators suggesting momentum is about to shift to the upside, such as the weekly RSI, and moving average crosses, as well as volume ranges telling us we are at significant support. There is absolutely no doubt that the charts are starting to look better, even to the traditional markets. However, there is still a risk we continue downwards, and there are a few charts I do want to share with you today, particularly the Gaussian channel on the monthly, suggesting something that we have never ever seen before happen on the larger time frame. Let's go ahead and dive into the video. Okay, MegaWhale team, welcome back to the channel, guys. Thank you for tuning into today's video. Hope you're all having a fantastic day. We're going to talk about Bitcoin today because obviously a lot has happened on the chart. We've seen a pretty significant rally up on the smaller time frame for Bitcoin, pushing past that 16,800 horizontal resistance up into our $17,000 resistance range, which we can go ahead and actually see in the chart here. That was that 9th of November low right over here. So we have developed a pretty strong horizontal resistance here, which we've never actually closed an hourly candle above. We have about 13 minutes before the hourly close, so that'll probably happen during this video. But nevertheless, guys, the point of today's video is to talk about, obviously, that recent move. We're going to be talking about the macro. We're going to bring up a few charts in the larger time frame, which are showing things to us that we've never actually seen happen before on the Bitcoin chart, particularly on the monthly chart, the larger time frame. Now, guys, obviously, before you get into it, smash the like button, hit the comment button, subscribe to the channel. And obviously, guys, if you are interested in joining our Telegram channel, get access to all of our Telegram updates, charts, analysis videos, and so much more. The second link down below. If you're interested in VIP, you can go ahead and access our VIP channel to get access to all our trade signals via the free channel. Let's go ahead and get into it. So quickly, guys, the recent move was mainly facilitated by a piece of news that came out by the Brazilian government. And this, of course, was Brazil. They announced regulation to allow for cryptocurrency payments to be used. And this is a huge piece of news. Another country adopting crypto, accepting crypto, particularly Bitcoin, in transactions in their financial system, in their economy. And it's interesting to see countries adopting Bitcoin. It's interesting to see big firms adopting Bitcoin, such as Fidelity, which owns $4.5 trillion in assets. They just announced yesterday, or today actually, they've launched retail crypto trading, so they're allowing their retail, their investors of their assets, they manage, to actually access cryptocurrency. And we're seeing all this positive, bullish news in the midst of what is, I would call, slander towards the cryptocurrency space. Politicians, government agencies, regulators, basically telling us cryptocurrency is bad, cryptocurrency is dangerous, cryptocurrency needs to be avoided, it's unsafe, all on the backbone of the FTX crash, which wasn't even caused by crypto. That exchange didn't fall because crypto is bad. It fell due to fraud. It fell due to unethical practices that was used by the company to take investors' funds, lock those funds up, and they didn't have that liquidity to provide their users those funds when they requested it. So it's very interesting to see what people say and what they do. If you want to see what the government thinks about crypto, don't listen to what they say. Listen and see what they do, what they allow to happen. That's going to tell you a bigger picture. What paints us a bigger picture here is we're seeing these big firms adopt crypto. We're seeing countries even now accepting crypto as payments. That is more of an indication of what they think than anything else. So keep that in mind, guys. Anyway, let's start with the market data, guys. So Bitcoin currently, we have seen a little jump in the last 24 hours, so we can expect our monthly data to come up. And obviously with the last of November here, we're most likely closing November red. We're at negative 16.98 for the month, and obviously for the quarter, 12.37. So it actually come up a little bit, guys, which is really nice to see. Volatility for the 30-day period is 4.03. Obviously, guys, we have seen a pretty good rally in the last 24 hours, which has resulted in a small little jump in volatility, about a 0.1%, 0.2% jump in volatility. Moving on from there, guys, obviously liquidations have come up. We've seen a lot more trading volume happen in this last little period. So obviously liquidations are up. As volume rises, as volatility rises, liquidations generally rise. So let's talk about the overall market, and then we'll come back to cryptocurrency now. So DXY has been moving slowly upwards ever since this breakout of this descending trend line. We have formed a new uptrend on the DXY. It is by far not a strong uptrend. We're not seeing these highs respected. We're seeing weaker and weaker highs as we've started to see this momentum fall. So we had some degree of bearish divergence here. We are retesting this uptrending support line here, as well as this horizontal support range at 106.6. Not looking ideal for the DXY, but again, this could be a potential bounce point. So seeing a bounce over here could continue upwards to around 107. We can expect the assets to fall. Losing this level, particularly 50 SMA, we can expect a move all the way back down to 105. Obviously, that would be bullish for the markets. Total cryptocurrency market cap, again, not too much is occurring here. We are actually pushing up to what we would call a pretty strong resistance zone, being this upper chunk over here of the VRPV here. So what we can see here, we have this downward sloping historical trading volume. Okay, then we're met by this cliff. Okay, this is a chunk. Okay, and then we're moving back up. So we know this drop off here, this shift in volume sometimes acts as resistance, because what it indicates is we have a higher volume chunk here, and then we have very little trading volume here, and therefore that must be a resistance. Okay, so we can extend that one back over here to see where it goes into. We can see it pushes into that June low area, the candle low area, pretty interesting. It also taps at 8th to 9th of November, wick low after on the FTX crash. So we are testing a pretty significant resistance point here on the total cryptocurrency market cap and Bitcoin itself. Dow Jones, it did print that bearish divergence. It hasn't pushed down too much. It is underneath the 34,000 level. Keeping an eye on that one for the short term. Again, nothing too interesting happening there. S&P 500, not too much interesting happening here either. We have pushed down to find support on this horizontal support line here at 3954. Again, for us to see a move down, guys, we will need to actually lose that level, and then we can continue. Moving on, bond yields, really interesting. Bond yields are looking weaker. We're looking like we're weakening, okay, with lower highs printing here, and we're converging towards this 50 SMA, this horizontal support level. If we do lose that, the markets could definitely flip bullish, okay? As we look at the 10-year, that has already occurred. We have these lower highs here, okay, a lower high printed, came down, lost that horizontal support level, okay, rejected, and lost the 50, where it looked like we're heading down. So very interesting to see. Let's go ahead and look at Bitcoin though. So different chart today. We're on the Bitget spot pair chart instead of the Binance Kraken chart. And I do have a few charts, but as you can see in this chart over here, we did actually break out of what we would call this descending channel formation. Okay, we had this downward sloping resistance. We said already, the downward sloping resistance was our main resistance we were looking at. We were looking at a few things. The few things we were looking at was, number one, a break of this downward sloping resistance. Number two, a break over this 16,800 resistance. That was likely going to send us upwards to 17,000. Okay, now we have actually found a new resistance level print over here. And this is, of course, the $17,000 level. If we go ahead and bring up that short-term VRPV, what we can see here, again, very similar thing to what we're seeing on the total cryptocurrency market cap, almost directly reflecting the exact same bit of information we're getting there. That as soon as we go over our 17,000 level, we have this lower trading volume range, which takes us essentially all the way back up to what we would assume to be the next chunk, which will develop around 18,100. Now, 18,100 is a very key resistance point, as not only does it indicate the June top range low, okay, that we held for about 4 to 5 months, but it also comes up into this range on the total cryptocurrency market cap. So I'm going to show you again, because that doesn't make a lot of sense if you're new to the channel. So we'll go to this chart over here and we'll zoom out. Let's go to a daily chart. The reason why 18,165 is so key is because we take that level here horizontally and extend it across. You can see we retested this level 3 times in June. So we're retesting that June low level here at that 16,800 level. And as you can see in the VRPV over here, we can see a chunk indicating a shift or a jump in historical trading volume at that level, again supporting the fact that that is resistance. So to the upside, guys, if we are able to break over 17,000, I do expect a continuation for the markets, potentially significantly higher, okay? Obviously 18,000 is quite some way away in terms of percent, so I definitely keep that in mind. What we're looking at on the short term here is a rejection from 17,000. We do expect resistance to act as a resistance until it is not, and therefore we do expect this to actually continue as resistance for now. We could definitely see some degree of a bounce upwards here into this range again. For us to start looking bearish again, we're going to have to need to start losing these levels, particularly the POC level, to come back into these levels. Like we've said already, guys, if we do lose this $16,000 level here, we are almost guaranteed to head back down to 15,000. If we do lose that 15,500, we are going down to 13.9. There is a lot of indications, however, on the larger time frame that Bitcoin is looking more bullish. And we'll go ahead and get into that. I don't want to do too much short-term analysis today. The short term is quite obvious. As you look at this chart, it's very, very obvious what's happening. It's very obvious what is going to happen. I don't want to spend too much time talking about it. We've talked about it a lot already. But if we go to the larger time frame chart, this is where it gets really interesting. Looking for an honest, reliable, and accurate exchange that you can trust to trade on, go ahead and sign up to Bitget with the link down below and join myself and all of our other VIP members and other members who trade on Bitget daily. There's a whole range of benefits and features you can actually get by trading on Bitget. These include no government regulations, meaning you can sign up from anywhere in the world. There's no KYC, 0% trading fees on spot, massively reduced trading fees on futures. It's one of the lowest in the game. And most importantly, access to their protection fund. In case the exchange gets hacked, you can actually get reimbursed for your funds, so you can ensure your funds are safe. Now, most importantly, if you do sign up with the link down below, that first link, you'll get access to 2 additional features. These include access to a reward center where you can get up to $4,163 in rewards, and access to the MegaWhale exclusive referral link, bonus discounts. Every other month we do bonus campaigns. We get up to 10% off your trading fees, or even you get a percentage of your trading fees refunded to your account as USDT. Essentially, you get paid to be on the exchange. That's enough, guys. We'll get back into the video. If we look at the Bitcoin chart here, we can see a few things. Mostly we see the price action, we see the momentum, and we see the candles. So there's 3 things I want to look at. Firstly, the price action is indicating a descending channel. Descending channels are bullish reversal patterns, okay? Meaning they are downward consolidations, okay? Hence the downtrend, hence the bear market, that eventually results in a break to the upside, developing either a new trend, a sideways trend, or a continuation to the upside, creating a new uptrend. Hence the reversal part of the pattern. So bullish reversal pattern. We do expect a continuation upwards for Bitcoin if it is able to break out of 2 things. We're looking for a break of the RSI on the weekly. This will indicate momentum has shifted positive, okay? And we're looking for a consecutive break of this downward sloping resistance of the Bitcoin weekly chart. Ideally, we would like to see a break not only of the downward sloping resistance on the Bitcoin chart, but a break over the 18,165 level on this chart over here to get that double break of the horizontal and the diagonal, the break on the RSI, the momentum, a triple confirmation that we can continue upwards. If we do continue upwards here, we're looking for that next target of 22 to 24,000, which is of course that horizontal resistance range we challenged before the bull market really kicked off in December 2020. Moving up from there, our next resistance are the yearly bull market support level, which is this level here, the yearly bull market support level, and pushing up there, obviously we're looking at higher levels, of course. That is what it's looking like for the weekly. The weekly is definitely starting to look better. If we look at the weekly itself and look at the candles, what we can see in the candles is, of course, consolidation, okay, sideways price action, and of course these levels being defended, followed by a nice strong bullish candle. So we do have some bullish strength here on the weekly chart. Of course, we had a nice rally in the last 24 hours, which has kind of helped push that candle up a little bit, which is nice to see. But the weekly chart is looking good. The weekly chart is looking amazing above these levels. Until then, we do have to remember we are actually still in a downtrend, and therefore we can see the price fall. So a weekly chart is starting to look good. I've said this already. Either we're at the bottom, okay, or we're very close to it. Very close to it, do I mean 13.9 to 12,000 will be the absolute bottom, in my opinion, if we do come down again. But there are a few charts I want to show you today that actually counter that point, that contradict that point, that tell me, you know what, maybe I'm wrong, maybe we won't, maybe we could actually go lower. And again, these are very speculative charts, but They are charts, nevertheless, that do need to be considered when we're doing analysis. But really quickly, guys, let's go back to the small time on Bitcoin, very short time frame. Take a look at the very little minute chart, very small time frame, to see how the price is reacting at this $17,000 level. So what we can see here is something called a bearish divergence. Okay, this is where we have a decreasing momentum and we have a rising price. So we have a clear bearish divergence. We have a 50 EMA cross after a bearish divergence, which is a signal of a trend reversal. So currently I'm expecting the price to reverse back down into this level. Possibly guys, if we do lose this level, we can actually reverse this entire move. I'd be definitely waiting for an hourly close above this horizontal resistance range first, before I expect to see any sort of move to the upside. And actually, as a matter of fact, I think we just saw the hourly close, and that hourly close printed the candle as a rejection underneath the 17,000. As you can see, the hourly close actually closed under. So we do need to get hourly close above to bust through this level. The reason we're looking for hourly is because we haven't really seen hourlies here before. Obviously, the higher the time frame, the better. Looking for a 4 hourly, we're much more consistent than a 1 hourly, but we're looking at least for an hourly to start off with above that level to confirm a continuation upwards. Until then, looking like we got a bearish divergence, looking like we have possibly been rejected. Maybe we even have some sort of rising channel that we're kind of pushing under now. So it is looking a little bit more bearish at this resistance. Again, as expected, resistance is resistance, but obviously going to start looking bearish as we approach the resistances, as we touch resistances. We should be looking to short here, maybe taking a few lagging longs, because we do expect this trend to start flipping anyway, but that is what I'll be doing here. So let's go ahead and take a look at that chart I was talking about, and this chart is probably the chart that is worrying me the most. And before I show you the chart, I need to explain what the Gaussian channel is. More importantly, I need to explain how the Gaussian channel can predict macro swings. So it's not really good at all at predicting tops and bottoms. Pathetic at predicting tops and bottoms. What it is good at doing is predicting points of continuation in the current trend. Say it again, points of continuation in the current trend. That is what it's really good at, particularly on a larger time frame. I'm going to show you an example. Generally, when the Gaussian channel breaks into, or should I say, sorry, when the price action breaks into the Gaussian channel, we see two things occur. Number one, we see a break and push towards the midline of the Gaussian channel, which is this thick middle line over here, okay? And reject and bounce, okay? Or we see a break through the midline, which most of the time results in a continuation below the Gaussian channel, okay? Vice versa. If the price is under the Gaussian channel, breaks into the channel, we usually see a break, a push to the midline, and a bounce, or we see a continuation through the Gaussian channel. That's generally how the price action moves with the Gaussian channel. So let's take an example. This is the 2014 bear market. We saw the price action push into the Gaussian channel, signifying weakness in the trend. Eventually, we pushed to the midline, breaking the midline, and we pushed through to the bottom. On the flip side, after the bottom, we broke into the Gaussian channel, through the midline, signaling strength in the trend, came back and retested, and actually from there, we pushed all the way upwards to the top of the next bull market. Let's go again. Push down, break into the Gaussian channel, signify weakness, push up, reject the midline, push to the bottom. We found the bottom, we pushed into the Gaussian channel, we found support, okay, signifying reversal, we pushed through. Okay, let's take it again. We dropped into the Gaussian channel, signifying weakness, bounce, crash the midline, push below the Gaussian channel, back in the Gaussian channel, we push all the way up to a new all-time high here, again testing as support, signifying weakness in the trend eventually, which will break downwards. We saw a break into the Gaussian channel, loss of the midline, down below. So as you can see, a common trend here is generally when we break into the Gaussian channel and the midline, we continue that trend throughout the Gaussian channel. And this is a large time frame. I'll show you again. We can go to a smaller time frame. You can see the same thing occur on a smaller time frame. Over here, break in, push through, okay? Reject, retest, break in, find support, push up. Okay, we're seeing that same pattern play out, which is a break through a top line and continuation through a midline equals a break through the Gaussian channel. A retest of the midline results in either a bounce back above or down below and through the Gaussian channel. We're seeing very similar things happen. Look at this, rejection, okay? Push down. The Gaussian channel is incredibly accurate. Again, rejection from this level, push down. So the Gaussian channel can be used really, well, it can be used a lot. I love to use it when predicting or when I'm utilizing or assessing continuation points for the current trend. You can't use it to predict reversals. You can't predict it to use points on which a trend will flip. It's to predict the current trend. Will the current trend continue or will the current trend not continue? So let's go ahead and show you the chart I'm worried about. And this is, of course, the monthly chart for Bitcoin. And if you're paying attention to what we said before, the reason why we're worried about it is because we're testing the midline for the first ever time in Bitcoin's history on the monthly chart on the Gaussian channel. We have never, ever once before tested the midline of the Gaussian channel. We came close to it here. Okay, it was a scam wick, we pushed straight up. We've never tested the midline properly. All right, in fact, we've never even closed a monthly candle within the Gaussian channel. So this is a chart that scares me, and I don't think it should be scaring you too much, because what it can indicate this is a possible bottom. As we've seen already, we can see the price push into the Gaussian channel and bounce off the midline and continue upwards. So this actually could be indicating a possible bottom. It could be used as a bottom signal, okay? Or again, if we do lose this level, guys, it's very hard to say, but going off the data of what the technical indicator suggests, we could actually be pushing lower to, you know, $9,000. So that is something to keep in mind. Anyway, guys, I'm gonna leave the video there. If you've got any questions, let me know down below. Let me know what you think about this. Let me know what you think about the Gaussian channel, because this is a pretty overwhelming piece of information when it comes to the technical data, what the technical is suggesting. Obviously, we have to keep this in consideration. Even if this turns bearish, we have a lot of really bullish things that is being suggested on the weekly, a lot of good things that are coming for Bitcoin that is suggested by obviously the news. Obviously the weekly chart, like I said, from a technical standpoint, from a structural standpoint, looks decent. So we do have to weigh up these things when doing our analysis. No one piece of information is going to tell us exactly what's going to occur. We have to kind of weigh it all up. Anyway, guys, let me know what you think, and I'll see you in tomorrow's video. Cheers, have a great day.